Hey, what is going on, guys? Pineapple Sway here. Today I'm bringing you guys a pretty interesting video today. We're going to be talking about WB needs to stop making live service games. And in case if you're wondering what am I talking about, it was announced that WB Montreal, the people that created Gotham Knights and Batman Arkham Origins, are working on a live service superhero game. And honestly, although I really enjoyed Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I think it's time to sort of let this genre of games just kind of die off. And especially with what happened with this game, with Kill the Justice League, I don't think WB needs another one of these on their game slate. As we know, the only game that was in development at the time was, Rocksteady's Batman game. And now apparently there's a few games, that are releasing, that are coming. WB doesn't have nothing, but seeing that WB Montreal is making another live service game and that another live service game is being made, especially after Suicide Squad, it's just not a good look in my opinion. And I think, really what the problem is, they're looking at Marvel. They're seeing that Marvel Rivals is one of the most successful games of all time, or will be one of the most successful games of all time. And they kind of just, I think, want to copy them and reap the benefits. Although the problem is, knowing that it's being made by WB Montreal, this game most likely won't be free to play. It'll be another, $70, $100 deluxe edition live service game. Will it be a looter shooter? Probably not, but it'll be something along the lines, which is why, I'm thinking of what it could be. I've been trying to pinpoint and think of it exactly, but, this just isn't, what we need right now. We need some single player story based games to really build trust again in people, because a lot of people kind of have just thought that WB and their games division has just completely fallen off, which in a way it has. A lot of these games are taking a unfortunate step backwards, and live service superhero games just really haven't done well. Marvel Rivals is the rare scenario, but we look at Marvel's Avengers, it was a complete disaster. We look at now Suicide Squad, it was a complete disaster. So we can only assume that what WB Montreal is working on will be a complete disaster. But to theorize, what do I think this game is? Obviously, take what I say with a grain of salt, but I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and say that this game is most likely a live service Justice League game. And not just any Justice League game, Rocksteady's Justice League game. I think what they're honestly doing is they're going to reuse the assets of Kill the Justice League to make a prequel game, much like what they did back in the day with from Batman Arkham City to Batman Arkham Origins that took place before the events of Batman Arkham Knight. Let Rocksteady work on the bigger game, which is the Batman game, the game that more people are probably going to care about in all honesty. But I think that this game that WB Montreal is working on is a Justice League game, and I think it's Rocksteady's Justice League. I think they're going to reuse those assets from this game and not let them go to waste. And I know it's pretty crazy for me to say that, but that's just what I think it is. I also just think in general that it's a Justice League game, a live service Justice League game. And who knows, people may like that. But looking at Gotham Knights was already not really a big success. Looking at Kill the Justice League, live service failure. People just don't really want these games anymore, and it's just not really a good look to release a live service flop and then immediately after release another live service game, or at least announce that you're making another live service game. I don't really seem to understand what's going on at WB and their games division, but in all honesty, WB Montreal, they're going to have, a lot of people that are just going to be against them just because the game is live service. The game could be fun, it could have good qualities, but people are already not going to look forward to it because it is live service. So they already have that stacked against them. People who don't like Gotham Knights, people who weren't big on Gotham Knights, they're going to have those people stacked against them. So it's just, the game is already, going to have problems before it's even out. People are already going to not want to, buy the game or even really bother with the game because it's live service. It's like they've already kind of marked, just death on the game, dead on arrival. And the game's not even out. We don't even know what the game is. And who knows? It could be a free-to-play live service game, but I highly doubt it. I've also heard in the rumor mill that a Marvel Rivals clone is being made by DC, which I'm going to make another video and talk about that and how I feel about that. And typically when it comes to DC, they're always 2 to 3 years late when it comes to what's popular. So that game will also probably just be a disaster as well. You know, we've been begging, WB to just give us games that, we're not asking for live service games. We're just asking for single player story based experiences with different characters. But they just don't really seem to care or listen. So, here we are again. And I don't plan on making this a long video. I'm going to wrap it up literally just right here. But I don't think WB Montreal is, really the best people to make this game, especially with it being live service. Rocksteady couldn't do it. I don't think WB Montreal can do it. It's kind of just really the definition of insanity. And that's just not what these studios are good at making. They're good at making single player story based games, but the only way I could see this game working is if they reuse the assets of this game, of Kill the Justice League, to make a live service Justice League game. And that's kind of where I stand. Unfortunately, I guess this is just where we are today with gaming. They're just trying to penny pinch as much as possible. And also, too, it's just like, man, why do we have to copy Marvel Rivals? It's just one big question mark of, what are they doing? And yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. This is Pineapple Sway. Please consider liking and subscribing. Peace out, everybody.